Welcome to Wales Today. I'm Thomas David. Our top stories. Cheryl Lee Barker used to get high-cost gluten-free food on prescription. Now people like her will be given prepaid cards to help pay for their goods.
I don't have to depend on going to the doctor, then the pharmacy. You know, their time's better spent elsewhere. I have control back now.
Wales is the first part of the UK to adopt the scheme, but the total cost hasn't been revealed. Also tonight, these fields were full to see the likes of Stevie Wonder. Now it's revealed a series of gigs went ahead without proper planning permission.
3, 2, 1.
With summer well underway, lessons in how to keep afloat and stay safe. Panic and confusion after a quarry wall collapses at a popular destination for tourists.
That kicked in my flight or flight, and then I just bolted with them as soon as they started running. I was like, God, but what if this is like a chain reaction? What if there's more collapses all the way down the quarry?
And on the beach in Brisbane, Wales's women face Australia ahead of the Rugby World Cup next month. Hello, good evening. Celiac disease is estimated to affect 1 in 100 people. For many, it's often painful and means following a non-gluten diet, which can be expensive. Now, for the first time in the UK, people in Wales will be given prepaid debit-style cards to help with the cost. It's not been revealed how much is being spent on the scheme, but the Welsh Government says it will not cost the health service any more money. Jordan Davis has more.
Bethan's just moved into her new flat and she's got kitchen cupboards to fill. But as a celiac, it can be expensive. Bethan, who's also vegetarian, struggles to find high-quality gluten-free food at a reasonable price.
This would have cost perhaps about £2.50. It's quite dry, but it gets the job done. So it can be tricky. I find that bread is considered an essential for a lot of people, but that isn't the case for celiacs. You almost find you're budgeting for bread sometimes, and you think like, okay, I can buy a loaf of bread now, but should I buy it next week? Because it was a really expensive purchase for the last week. So it can be quite tricky in that respect.
But now Bethan will receive a new prepaid card from the NHS with money on that'll help her buy things like gluten-free bread, flour and pasta from shops and some cafes.
So I think it would be a massive change. It would be a really positive difference. I think being able to choose what I want to eat. So we're not having bread, things like that, but also we're not having the benefits that go with having the bread. So being able to have that card and spend it on the foods that ensure that we're able to stay healthy, I think, would be incredibly important.
And the price difference can be stark. The average price of an own brand loaf of bread across several well-known supermarkets was 63p a few days ago. For a gluten-free loaf, it was £2.26. The average cost of supermarket own brand pasta was 56p per half kilo. The lowest gluten-free option was £1.22.
The gluten-free diet is the treatment for celiac disease. A strict gluten-free diet is necessary for someone with a condition to stay well. But it's more expensive, it's hard to get hold of, but it is in all of our interests for people with celiac disease to be well, to stop them from developing associated conditions like osteoporosis, neurological dysfunction, unexplained infertility, and in rare cases even small bowel cancer, which is devastating for those with the condition, but it's also bad news for the NHS more broadly. That's to pick up the tab for those conditions.
It's estimated around 1 in 100 people have celiac disease, but many people don't know they have it. The Welsh Government has not said how much money this scheme will cost, but said it anticipates it will not cost the NHS any more money. The amount each person will receive on their card will vary. Cheryl Lee uses her card, which is worth around £14 a month to her, in local shops in Narberth. She used to get gluten-free food on prescription, which is still available, but says this gives her more flexibility.
That's one of the things, the beauties of card, is that I don't have to depend on going to the doctor, then the pharmacy. You know, their time's better spent elsewhere. I have control back now. I'm empowered. I can use that card wherever I want.
Around 30,000 people suffer with celiac disease in Wales. It's hoped this card will help them better manage this lifelong condition.
Stevie Wonder and Alanis Morissette, just some of the performers to draw tens of thousands of people to Cardiff's Blackweir Fields this summer. But it's emerged tonight the concerts went ahead without planning permission. The council has decided not to take any formal action against the organisers. Well, our reporter Dan Moffat is at Blackweir Fields for us now. So Dan, tell us more.
Thomas, yes, good evening. Welcome to Blackweir Fields, which, as you can see, is much quieter this evening than it has been over the past few weeks. The area behind us is nearly back to how it was before the concerts. The large fences that we saw that were here have now gone. Now, today, a report from the council has said that there was no application from the organisers for planning permission or a certificate of lawfulness issued showing whether planning permission was needed. Now, this report says by not having that certificate, the organisers were proceeding at risk. Now, the issue with this is a planning law which prohibits the temporary change of the use of a park for more than 28 days a year without additional planning consent. Now, the events here meant the park was actually affected for 9 days more than that, a total of 37 days. In the report, a past legal case in London was referenced, which concluded that the number of days of temporary use of the land should start from when the land is used and ends, such as setting the space up and taking the sets down, not just the dates of the events themselves. This means that the performances here at Blackweir and the work associated with them meant that that had led to a breach of the planning law.
Hey, Dan, I just wonder, what could happen in future?
Well, in the report, council officers considered whether enforcement action should be taken against the organisers, Depot Live and Cuff and Taylor, but they recommended that that was unnecessary due to what they called the minor nature of the breach. And the conclusion of all of this, Thomas, Cardiff Council and the organisers of any future events here should apply for planning permission for any event that exceeds that 28-day limit. A spokesperson for Cardiff Council told me this afternoon that they've reviewed the situation and that any future events here in Cardiff and at Blackweir will factor in that limit. The organisers, Depot Live and Cuff and Taylor, have said they won't be commenting.
OK, Dan Moffat, thank you very much. The family of an 18-year-old who died following a collision on the A40 between Carmarthen and Llandeilo have described her as lighting up any room she entered with her smile and personality. Sally Allen from Kilgetty died on Wednesday morning after a collision involving two cars. Her family said she was endlessly caring, unintentionally hilarious, and the most amazing, supportive and joyful person. Police are continuing to appeal for witnesses. It's been confirmed the next Chief Executive of NHS Wales will be Jacqueline Totterdell. She's currently the Chief Executive of a health trust in London and will replace Judith Paget, who's been in the role for 4 years. Resident doctors in England have started the first of 5 days of industrial action in a dispute over pay. If you live on the border or receive specialist care from the English NHS, you could be affected with appointments cancelled. But why are the strikes not happening here? Well, our health correspondent Jenny Rees is here. So what's the answer?
Well, you're right. So resident doctors here in Wales are not going on strike. And if the phrase isn't particularly familiar, they were previously known as junior doctors, but it felt, that it wasn't quite representative of their kind of true roles and experience. So the BMA, who represents them, are currently in contract negotiations with the Welsh Government. So it was felt that that's the place, if any improvements are to be made, to make it there. Now, from the conversations I've had, I don't think they're expecting a huge financial uplift as a result of those conversations. Welsh Government has always said that if they had more money for any of these pay negotiations with any of the elements of NHS staff, it would have to come as a result of Treasury uplift from Westminster. But when it comes to terms and conditions, there might be some wiggle room there, if you like, to perhaps improve the situation for them. And so at the moment, as I said, it would be wrong to suggest that resident doctors or the BMA are happy with the current offer, but because they've got those contract negotiations, it means it's less likely that we would see any strikes happening in Wales at the moment, at least.
So what more can you tell us about the offer to doctors here in Wales?
So they've been offered 4%, that's for this current financial year, 25-26, plus a consolidated £750. So that takes it to between 5.1% and 6.3%, which they'll get in next month's, in August's pay. Now, the previous rises that were given to them was around 22%. The BMA would say, though, that that still leaves them as less than they were on back in 2008, if you take into account inflation. Clearly, this is a difficult one for both sides. You need experienced, well-resourced staff, you know, the right kind of expertise too, particularly at a time when there's so many pressures on the service, but purse strings are also being tightened. We know there's traditionally been public support for the NHS in Wales. Public support for strike action, though, I think is a less clear-cut question.
OK, Jenny Rees, our health correspondent, thank you very much. I know you'll keep us posted. Thank you. Young people have been getting lessons in how to cope if they get into difficulty swimming in cold water. It's part of World Drowning Prevention Day. Emergency services and water safety organisations hosted a mass float in Llyn Padarn in Llanberis. The RNLI says more than a quarter of recent accidental drownings involve those aged between 10 and 29. Matthew Richards reports.
It's a busy day on Llyn Padarn with swimmers, paddleboarders and kayakers enjoying the water. But these young people are getting potentially life-saving advice from the emergency services as well.
Good. Float to live. So in this one, you're going to need your ears in the water.
This mass float is designed to show people how to adjust to cold water shock by lying back with their arms outstretched and ears submerged while slowing down their breathing and shouting for help.
You try and float, you put your head back in the water and you shout help. So if you're tired, if you just need to calm down, lie down. You have to keep calm and don't make yourself overwork, just keep deep breaths. If you needed help, you'd go into the huddle position and go like that. And you'd go like that to keep your body warm.
The message this summer is aimed particularly at young people.
We see that around a quarter or slightly more than a quarter of all accidental drownings over the last 5 years have been young people aged between 10 and 29. And that's why World Drowning Prevention Day this year, we're really encouraging young people, indeed people of all ages, to learn to float on their backs, which is a really key life-saving skill.
15-year-old Christopher Turnbull drowned in Capel Curig in 2006, and his mum has campaigned for better water safety ever since. She says social media often reflects natural beauty spots without recognising their dangers.
We get people who come along and they promote where there's waterfalls, they promote where you can jump into quarries. Unfortunately, then you get lots of people in one place and they jump in a quarry, there's no way out. They've jumped in, but they don't even consider how they're going to get out of there. People jump into waterfalls again, they think it's easy. They can lose their breath, lose their footing, they can slip, they could get caught up in the underwater hazards that are there that people don't even think about.
Lakes and rivers can pose even more of a risk than the sea.
They're more dangerous than anything. More people drown in inland water than they do on the coast, on the sea, purely because people don't see the hazards associated with inland water. People see these beautiful places like this and they realise how dangerous they can be. They go in their paddle boards and their canoes and don't realise the dangers that it possesses.
Although it's been a fun day, search and rescue teams are hoping their message sinks in. This is just a drill. Members of the emergency services practising their life-saving skills. And today is all about teaching members of the public how to keep their head above water if they should find themselves in difficulty. Matthew Richards, BBC Wales Today, Llanberis.
You're watching Wales Today. Stay with us, plenty still ahead. We're on the beach in Brisbane. Wales women prepare for the Rugby World Cup with 2 test matches against Australia.
And it's not looking too bad for the last weekend of July. Some sunshine, but also some clouds and a few scattered showers. I'll have the latest forecast.
Fans of the popular fantasy series House of the Dragon might recognise Dinorwig Quarry in Gwynedd as a key filming location for the series. But the disused slate quarry was recently caught on camera again when part of its wall dramatically collapsed in a rock slide. It's prompted calls for visitors to be aware of the dangers there, as Carwyn Jones now reports.
The moment the rock face came crashing down, and for the person filming, it was a shocking moment.
The whole wall just collapses, and I couldn't quite believe it. At the time, I kind of thought it might be a controlled demolition, but then I remembered the quarry's been inactive since, I think it was 1969 or something like that. So I was mind blown. Last thing I expected to see. I knew it was dangerous, but I'd always walked through there without really knowing the real risks involved until I saw it for myself. That's when it really settled in for me that, wow, this is not, you need to enter at your own risk.
The quarry hasn't been operational for many years now, but the slate still casts its shadow on the area and the local community down below. The location is also a tourist hotspot, with the quarry a key filming location for many big TV shows like House of the Dragon. But with the area becoming busier at this time of year, the incident shows just how dangerous this place can be. One local councillor told the BBC that the quarry gets very busy and that the dangers here were very real. He stressed how important it was for people to be vigilant and take care in the area. Working in the slate industry was hard and often dangerous. Decades on, the warning for those visiting the area is to be aware of the dangers that still persist today.
Carwyn Jones reporting there. Let me bring you up to date with the day's sports news now, starting with rugby. And this time next month, Wales's women will be at the World Cup, hosted by England this time round. Before that, 2 warm-up matches in Australia. Sean Lynn's side are not in the best of form, though, having finished bottom of this year's Six Nations Championship. And they're still looking for a first win under the head coach. From Brisbane, here's Kerry Coleman-Phillips.
The British and Irish Lions may have left town, but there's still a rugby buzz about Brisbane as attention now turns to the women's game. Wales have made the long trip down under for a 2-test tour against the Wallaroos, all in preparation for next month's Rugby World Cup in England. The first test will be played in the Gold Coast tomorrow morning before moving on to Sydney the following Friday. Wales are looking to bounce back after a disastrous Six Nations, which saw them finish bottom of the table. Head coach Sean Lynn says both he and the players have a point to prove.
I think we all have got a point to prove, and we know as a group, we had some honest conversations when we started pre-season, and we know we're ranked 12th in the world, and it's not where we want to be. We want to be moving forward, so we've all got a point to prove. I wouldn't say it's the pressure, I would definitely say it's that confidence and belief. And these girls know it, and they're working really hard for it. And just having that win out here, if it comes on Saturday or next Friday, will be a real big boost for us going into World Cup. But we know these 2 fixtures, we're not going to be the finished product. We're looking to build for the World Cup.
Lynn has shown he is looking to build in his team selection. 6 of the matchday squad are under the age of 21, while Alex Callender will lead the side out for the first time at just 24. The back rower says it's a huge honour and she's ready for the challenge.
This is what we do it for. You know, we go through that tough pre-season to come out and play in games like this, the game that we love, and we're all really, really excited just to step out on the field on Saturday and just give it our all, and hopefully, you know, with a performance which leads into a result. You know, we speak about Linny's energy. I love it. I am here for it, and I really want to, you know, put a result on, not only for us but for him as well. We've worked so hard over the pre-season, and we just want to go out and put a performance in, and hopefully the result will follow.
Seren Lockwood, Catherine Baverstock and Tilly Vukac are set to make their debuts from the bench, and it'll also be a special day for Kelsey Jones, who will run out for her 50th cap. But there will be little time for sentiment, as this will be anything but a friendly warm-up. There is less than a month until Wales kick off their World Cup campaign against Scotland in Manchester, followed by matches against Canada and Fiji in Pool B. A quarter-final will follow if Wales can finish in the top 2, which could mean meeting Australia again or the hosts England.
The British and Irish Lions roared to victory here in Brisbane last weekend, and Wales women will be hoping to taste the same success when they take on the Wallaroos. They're looking for a first win under head coach Sean Lynn, and after a brutal pre-season, players say they're the fittest they have ever been. That'll certainly be tested against a side they've only ever beaten once. It's not do or die for Wales, but a victory would give them confidence and momentum heading into the Rugby World Cup, which kicks off in just 4 weeks' time. Kerry Coleman-Phillips, BBC Wales Today in Brisbane.
Yes, Brisbane, a beautiful part of the world, and you can see how they get on against Australia tomorrow morning. The match is live on the iPlayer and the BBC Sport website. There's commentary too on BBC Radio Cymru, Radio Wales and BBC Sounds. It's an early start though. Kick-off is at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Plenty of coffee required, I think. Let's move on now to some football news. And Wrexham have approached the former Manchester United and Spurs midfielder Christian Eriksen in the most ambitious move yet by the club under Hollywood owners Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. The Denmark international is without a club after his contract with United expired at the end of last season. But with Wrexham soon to start life in the Championship, it's understood Eriksen, who's 33 now, still wants to play in one of Europe's top leagues. Chepstow Racecourse is to host a new 3-day jump racing festival, which organisers hope will offer an intimate alternative to the Cheltenham Festival. It will take place in October and will launch this year's British National Hunt season. Rebecca John has more.
Lifts the Welsh champion hurdle.
The sights and sounds of Chepstow Racecourse, familiar to established fans of horse racing, but it's hoped a new festival in October will attract more people into the sport. Chepstow has always had a 2-day meeting to open the jump season across the UK, but this year they're launching an expanded 3-day event called the Welsh Racing Festival.
We have partnered with DragonBet. We have taken the 3rd day of the festival, which has come from Foslas, which is the Welsh Champion Hurdle Day, and we've formed a new DragonBet Welsh Racing Festival across the 3 days, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a fantastic product. It will be amazing. It will be full of fantastic racing, really competitive racing.
Organisers say the event will be more intimate and more affordable than the Cheltenham Festival, with many trainers using the fixture to test their horses before the key winter months. There'll also be an entertainment programme alongside the racing.
We'll have live music, we'll have loads of Welsh activity to try and fit with the Welsh Racing Festival theme, and loads of exciting announcements to come over the next couple of weeks.
It's hoped more than 10,000 racegoers will attend across the 3 days, and that it'll create a buzz around the town, as well as benefiting other local businesses.
Rebecca John reporting there. Now, before we get the weather forecast, a word about a special programme looking back at this year's Royal Welsh Show. At 7:30 here on BBC One Wales and iPlayer, we'll bring you all the colour and stories of this year's event, including our very own Derek Brockway, who spent some of his time in Llanelwedd learning to fly fish and taking a tour of the food hall.
Garlic and herb.
Well, you're currently being filmed on TV.
Delicious. Enjoy.
I will.
Have a good show.
Thank you.
It will make your coastal walk a bit
happier. It's got a bit of a kick to it.
Yeah, it does.
That'll go well on my cheese. Look at that.
There he is, eating and drinking again. 7:30, BBC One Wales, and it will be available on the iPlayer too. And Derek's here. Now, you had a right old laugh in Llanelwedd.
I did, yes. Really enjoyed the show this year, as I do every year. I enjoyed the fly fishing. Wasn't that good, mind. And, well, the food hall is absolutely amazing. Well worth a visit. And the weather wasn't too bad at the show this year. It was largely dry with just a few showers. And it's been lovely across most of the country today. This picture taken on the hills above Pontypridd. Just a few cumulus clouds there, and pretty warm as well. Mind you, there was a change in Gwynedd this afternoon. The cloud thickened with some rain. The umbrellas up in Porthmadog Efrog, and it turned cooler there as well. The highest temperatures today have been in the east of the country. We saw 25 Celsius earlier in Usk in Monmouthshire and also at Harden in Flintshire. That's 77 Fahrenheit. Tomorrow temperatures will be a little bit lower, but still pleasantly warm with some sunshine and feeling a tad fresher as well with lower humidity. Some sunshine to end the evening in the southeast, but overnight cloud will spread its way eastwards. A little rain and drizzle here and there. Could be a few heavy bursts of rain in the north during the early hours, and it will be a warm, close feeling night. Lowest temperatures only 13 to about 15 Celsius with a light or moderate breeze. On into tomorrow then, we have a weak cold front sliding its way southeastwards with a bump of high pressure following in from the Atlantic. So tomorrow then there will be some clouds around together with a few scattered showers, but there will be plenty of dry weather as well. You may be lucky and stay dry. Some sunny spells developing, particularly in the afternoon. Temperatures a little lower than today, feeling fresher, but in the sunshine it will feel pleasantly warm. Highs around 18 Celsius in Fishguard and in Bangor, up to 23 in Cardiff, Newport and Monmouth, with a light to moderate west to northwesterly breeze, and the pollen count will be low. If you fancy a paddle, if you're heading to the seaside, sea temperatures are above average at the moment, typically 17 to 20 Celsius, 17 in St David's, 19 in Llandudno, and around 20 Celsius in Barry and Penarth. Now on into tomorrow evening, a fine end to the day, but cloud will increase overnight. We could see 1 or 2 showers from that cloud, but I think it will stay dry in Monmouth and Cardiff. Temperatures tomorrow night dropping to around 10 to 13 Celsius. On into Sunday, we do have a small ridge of high pressure with a cold front further north lying through Scotland and Northern Ireland, and notice there will be more cloud around on Sunday compared to Saturday. So plenty of cloud expected on Sunday, then a few scattered showers about. So 1 or 2 of these could be on the sharp side, but a fair number of places will stay dry, and we should see a few sunny intervals breaking through the clouds. Temperatures on Sunday around 18 to 20 Celsius, up to 21 in the southeast, with a mainly light breeze from the west or northwest. Not a bad day then on Sunday. And then on into next week, it is looking changeable, a little rain and drizzle, but some decent dry spells as well, some sunshine and temperatures on the warm side. Have a nice weekend. Thomas.
Looking pretty pleasant. Derek, thank you very much. Don't forget, we're back with a special Royal Welsh Show programme at 7:30 here on BBC One Wales, and I'll be back after the BBC News at 10. That's Wales Today. From all of us here, goodbye.